How to run a creative business. Learn how to promote your art business if you are an artist. So, what is a creative business? A creative business is a company or organization that focuses on creating and selling products or services that are original and unique. Now, the creative entrepreneurs are somebody who are in the field of art, fashion design, advertising, architecture, and filmmaking. In this podcast, we are going to discuss if you're feeling artsy, how can you make art, you create what you love and make a business out of it. What really does a creative entrepreneur do? How are you as an artist structurally unique? How do you promote your art business? Hi, this is Neeti Keswani, author of best-selling book Live Your Dreams, founder Plush Inc., and your host for Luxury Unplugged, where luxury meets spirituality. So, a creative entrepreneur is someone who uses their creative or intellectual knowledge and skills to earn a living, usually in a business or as a freelancer. So, when you buy a creative product, whether it is a piece of music, a book, a fashion designer's latest piece of clothing, a sculpture maybe, a film, a game, or a building, you don't just buy the product. You buy into a story, a journey, a set of decisions that have been made about ideas, values, and emotions that create either wants to express or wants you to feel. Now, traditionally, these attributes haven't had a perceived economic value, but increasingly, they are, as more and more brands fight for consumers' attention by becoming more personal and relevant to their audiences. So, what are the benefits of being a creative entrepreneur? We will explore all of them, but let's go on with the topic at present. So now, as we discussed about the creative entrepreneur, but before that, do you understand who you are truly as a creative professional? You see, as a creative, you're constantly in pursuit of finding your authentic and your real voice, if you know what I mean. The challenge is to keep it alive while going through the various scenes of life. Now, you could be an actor, a guitarist, a pianist, an author, a YouTuber, a musician, or someone who has taken his art one notch up by being a creative entrepreneur. You probably feel vulnerable when you put your work on display, and it's understandable that you want it to be able to speak for itself. You don't want to come across as somebody who is pushy, who's salesy, or desperate for a sale. Here's the thing, your work does speak for itself. Just like your creative process, follow the process of the work speaking out for itself. Do you know what I mean? Well, if you don't, why don't you comment and let me know to explain this bit to you more? Okay, so your work speaks louder than words when you completely own it. when you completely own it, when you are completely with your creation. If you wish to connect with your audience, if you want people to recognize the value of your art, you need to learn how to speak about your art. Your story is crucial. It is not only important what you tell others, but what you tell yourself too. Food for thought, huh? Now, here are some steps to help you do just that. Know your target audience. Do you know who your best customers are likely to be? Who out there will become some of your biggest and most raving fans? Is it a particular age group, gender, etc.? Do you know about their particular interests, such as perhaps do they love playing guitar? Do they write blogs? Do they love taking pictures? Or maybe they are professional photographers. They are into wildlife photography. They are into gardening. They are into painting. They're artists. Perhaps they love stories that touch some strings in our heart. So the nugget is basically to define your target audience. The more you know about the people who love your creative work, the easier it will be to connect with them and market to them. Think about your ideal customer, what they like, and why are they attracted to your work. Find out where your target audience hangs out. Knowing your target audience includes research on where those people congregate, both on and offline. So find out where they meet so that you are able to distribute your creative materials to these locations, online or offline. The greatest marketing materials aren't worth anything if your ideal consumers don't see them. So place your materials, your creativity projects in the places where they will have the most impact. Perhaps if your target market is parents, put flyers in local schools and daycares. If your target market is music lovers, put ads in local concert venues or on websites that list upcoming shows in the area. If your target market is dog owners, put flyers in local pet stores, dog parks, or on community bulletin boards. Make a list of the places where your target audience hangs out and put out your marketing materials there. Developing a plan that speaks to your target audience will help you get there sooner. Now that you know who your target audience is and where they congregate, you need to develop a marketing plan that speaks to them. This includes figuring out what type of message will resonate with them and what type of media you will use to reach them. Now, for instance, if your target market is parents, your message might be about the importance of family time or how your product or service can make their life easier for busy families. If your target market is about being a music lover, then your message might be about how your product or service can improve their listening experience or help them discover new music. If your target market is about dog owners, your message could be about how your product or service can make their lives easier or help them better care for their pets. Some ideas for now marketing your creative materials. You could perhaps target magazines or websites that cater to parents if your target market is parents. If you are targeting music lovers, you want to advertise on music streaming websites, or music magazines. If your target market is about dog owners, you might want to advertise in pet magazines or on websites that cater to dog owners. Choose a message and media that you think will reach your target audience the best, and then create a plan for how you will use them. Next is being consistent with your marketing efforts. Now, once you have developed your marketing plan, it is important to be consistent with it. This means using the same message and media on a regular basis so that your target audience becomes familiar with your brand. Some ideas for being consistent with your marketing materials could be that if you are advertising in magazines, perhaps you can make sure to advertise in the same ones every month so that your target audience will see your ad regularly. If perhaps you're talking about your products or services on social media platforms or on podcasts, or you're trying to speak about your products or services on a YouTube channel, then try to advertise on a monthly basis, let's say for 6 months, for 3 months. Make it consistent so that your target audience understands that, okay, if this is the kind of channel I'm watching, I might spot across this particular product. So if you're advertising on websites or on podcasts, make sure to rotate your ads with different ideas about your products and services. If you're using social media, make sure to post regularly and use hashtags so that you are able to reach your target audience. By being consistent with your marketing efforts, you will increase the chances of reaching your target audience. And just one more thing, although the most important one. How should you do your marketing? Well, speak to your audience, one person at a time. Whatever format you're using for marketing to them, to writing to them, to speak to them, just understand who your ideal customer is, where to reach them, and choose a proper format. Choose to communicate with them well. And then know the difference between what you're offering and how can they benefit, versus just listing down the features of your product. So to do all of that, you will need to truly understand what your genuine art is all about. Are you truly trying to promote your art? Is it a passing fad for you? Is it a hobby? Or you're really serious about the art that you are wanting to promote? You truly understand the value that it is bringing to the people around you. So understand truly what you stand for, what your art stands for. What is your creative business is going to be built around that. And every business, every craft, every artist has a vibe. Have you felt that? So what's your vibe? How do you want to be portrayed? How do you want to be seen? What do you stand for? What are the things which are absolutely non-acceptable to you? What should people feel when they see your art? Can you genuinely stand with your art and claim it as your own? Because it truly has to be a part of you. So what is your art all about? Is it an inspiration that you want people to feel when they look at your art? Take for example, you're a painter and you want to generate certain sort of emotions when somebody looks at your art piece. What is that emotion? Do you create happy portraits? And then next most important thing is tell stories. Stories that touch some strings in your heart. They will touch the strings in your audience's heart. So connect with them on an emotional level. And don't sound desperate. Use language that engages the senses, appeal to their logic as well as emotions. Use stories to engage because stories are magical. Stories are more engaging for your audience means that they'll be paying more attention to it. They will connect you on a deeper level with your audience. Stories make your content, your message memorable. This means that people are going to likely talk about your work to their friends. They would love to discuss your art piece. And that would lead to spreading word of mouth. Stories about your work can be about anything. It's all up to you. They might cover things like why you picked up your medium, how you got into the business of art, who inspires you, what your subject matter is all about, and so on. But your story essentially should be about what you do and why you do it. You're marketing to them in particular because they're the ones who are going to care the most about your work. So when you're writing your marketing materials, this is your chance to reach out to them directly. Your communication should be such that you're talking to one person, like I'm doing right now. I'm not writing to everyone. I'm writing to you. I'm talking to you. I'm discussing with you. I'm trying to help you with a particular challenge I know you have, which is marketing your creative work. By taking the time to understand and connect with your audience, you will be able to create an emotional connection with them. And for that, use strong visuals, tell a story, and last but not the least, be you. By following these steps, you'll be able to better communicate the value of your art and connect with your target audience. Because you're not communicating for sales, per se. You are communicating for the sheer joy of talking about your art. You are creating an environment where your art is welcome and appreciated and loved. You're not talking to people about your work to persuade them to buy it, share it, or utilize your services. That is pushy sales. And those days are long gone. In order to do that, you have to write persuasively. You can't just list the facts. You have to say buy this, buy that, click here, click that. Instead, you need to pull on their emotions to connect them to the work and promise them they'll gain something from their purchase as a benefit. And if you feel that your brand story is not coming through in the right way you feel it should, then take help of some information designers or artists in this area, like my team, like me, and let us create stories around your brand and talk about your brand on our platforms. If you wish to talk about your brand, you can talk to my team and we can feature you on one of our podcasts or in our blogs. Let us build a community of passionate artists and let's collaborate to bring out the best of each other's art. Signing off, this is Nidhi Keswani for Luxury Unplugged, where luxury meets spirituality.